Reece James and Enzo Fernandez get the 2 goals that make Chelsea beat Copenhagen. Copenhagen 1, Chelsea 2. We're going to talk about the game because the reality is there's some good, there's some bad, and there's some downright ugly. You kind of know the segment at this moment in time. But what we need to do is break this down into the little details because you can't win. It's the Conference League. You lose, you're going to get cooked. You win, nobody's meant to care. You play badly, you're going to get cooked. You absolutely play well, nobody really cares. You see the trend over here. But we care because you guys made it onto this channel and you want the breakdown of the game. I took the notes, I watched the game, and now I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The good, the bad, and the downright ugly. But before that, you need to pay the rent. Number 1, Chelsea get their first away victory in ages. No excuses, hit that like button. It supports the channel massively. And if you're new to the channel, give it a subscription. You'll get all the content as soon as you want. And more importantly, I'm super close to 40,000. Help me out. From the jump, I'm going to talk about the ugly. Then I'm going to get into the bad. And then we can talk about the good. Because I can't lie to you, that was boring. That was a difficult watch in the first half, right? And the ugly truth is, I need to start with Keenan Dewsbury-Hall. Keenan Dewsbury-Hall is a player that we acquired. And I think, in my opinion, he is itching to get a chance. What doesn't help him is he doesn't get no minutes for 2-3 months. Then he gets exposed to some minutes and he gives you no reason to get any minutes. You see where I'm going with this? It's a horrible loop. He needs to leave Chelsea. He needs to leave Chelsea. He needs to go abroad. And when he goes abroad or to another club, he needs to play football on a regular basis. This Chelsea little fairy tale needs to end this summer. I don't understand why he's still here. I was adamant he was going to leave in January, but it didn't work out. He's stuck at the club. And what's really evident is Enzo Maresca doesn't trust him because everything happens apart from Keenan Dewsbury-Hall playing in his rightful position. In the first half, he had less touches than Enzo and Fernandez had in the second 20 minutes of when Enzo played. That is a wild stat. And then he gets moved to right wing. He plays in left centre midfield. He just never involved. And what really irritates fans is a player like this is getting shoehorned in different positions. And Shin Maheka came off. Shin Maheka starts the game. You end up moving Tyreek George back into the centre. Shim comes off when really it should have been Keenan Dewsbury-Hall came off. Because he looked average at best. Furthermore, let's get into the bad. That first half was lethargic. These men just rocked up. They couldn't get a hold of the ball in the final third. Everything was backwards. Everything was sideways. It was so rigid. Copenhagen were like, listen, we're not coming out to play. We're not going to press. And we are not going to fall for your bait. Look, Copenhagen have their prerogative to do that. They are not stupid. They're not going to come out. They're going to gegenpress you. And all of a sudden, you're going to play in and around them and you're through at their defense. They were smart. We had to be patient. However, it was a difficult watch. And I keep saying this. It was so hard to watch. There were no chances. I think at halftime, the XG was 0.06 to Copenhagen, 0.03 to Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea had a shot on target. I think the best chance Chelsea had was on the 48th minute in the first half. The ball went over the top and Tyreek George just headed it. It was never on. He just wanted to get some connection on it. And that's just the sad reality. And then, what do we need to talk about? Second half was really good. Part of the last 20 minutes. The game management. One thing we've seen is Chelsea take the lead. Chelsea get a comfortable position where they're meant to kick on. And we don't. What ends up happening is players start moving the ball slower, players start taking more touches than they need to, the urgency stops, and what I like to call fake pressing begins. A lot of people are going to say, Alex, what do you mean by fake pressing? I believe the captain of the fake pressing club at Chelsea Football Club is Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, right? He came on, I was watching him in the last 20. He makes it look like he's pressing. He sprints towards him and then he slows down. The guy knocks the ball past him. There's no urgency to chase him. There's no urgency to make sure you're physical with him. There's no urgency to be involved. It's just, I made my sprint. Now what? And it's like so lazy. And he's not the only one, by the way. So I don't like that I'm picking on him. It really happens with Chelsea on a regular basis. It starts off really good and then it just drops off. And it's just fake pressing all over the place. And what happens? They score a goal from it. Fake pressing leads to Chalobah having to give a free kick away. Free kick comes in. We don't deal with a cross. It literally goes over all of our defenders. Levi Colwell misreads the flight. And it's a brilliant header. And all of a sudden, it's 2-1 and paints the picture in a negative light. Where, yeah, we won 2-1. But it wasn't a good performance. It wasn't even a great game. We had a good half an hour spell where our quality overshone them. And that's just the reality of the story. Like, you can try paint it in any way you want. This wasn't a good performance. It didn't need to be. It's all about the win. This competition is all about just getting our hands on that trophy. Get your hands on that trophy. Win the Club World Cup. That's what I want to do in the summer. Genuinely, that's the biggest goal after getting top 4. Then the other thing that I want to talk about, we got a potential injury. It looks like Malo Gusto came off and he tried to press on, he tried to play, tried to be a warrior. It couldn't work. He went down, asked to be subbed off, and now we're in a little predicament. Because this predicament all of a sudden means that, yes, we've got Joshua Chempong, but it means Reece James is going to have to play more football. It means Reece James now is exposed to more minutes. Luckily, we won today. I don't know if Reece is going to be able to play next weekend and the Thursday. And with Gusto potentially being out, this could expose a problem. But it could also be an opportunity for Joshua Chempong. So it's one of those things. Now the good. I've got three good things here, right? Number one, the first goal. The first goal was urgency. It was the first sign of Chelsea actually showing their quality. And it's really sad that it took all the way till the second half and the first minute of the second half. What happens? Cucurella presses. Cucurella wins the ball high up. Enzo Fernandez wins it. Gives it to Nkunku. Nkunku gives it to Cucurella. Cucurella, lovely pick out of Reece James. Great strike. Good goal by Reece James. Captain's goal. All of a sudden, ugly game in Europe, but we're 1-0 up. I was like, brilliant. Fantastic from Reece James. All in all, Reece had a good game in that midfield as well. Got around, he's looking more and more comfortable, nice and robust. He's just really leading by example, and I really like it. You can really see him growing into the Chelsea top. You can see him growing into the armband. And for me, it's a nice victory, and Reece James and Enzo Fernandez contributing makes me very happy. The next thing was the second goal, and the second goal was really lovely to see. Copenhagen try to play out the back. What happens is Cucurella and Nkunku jump on him like a rash. They win that ball high up, give the ball to George, and in that position, there are so many players that would have shot. He didn't. He looked up, he got his angles right. Brilliant weight of pass to Enzo Fernandez. He fixes his foot. Brilliant curling shot. 2-0 Chelsea. I'm like, this is beautiful. We are comfortable. This is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Enzo Fernandez is celebrating it like he's a madman. It's like he's called a Champions League final winner. I love it. I don't care where you score your goals. You just keep scoring. And it's one of those things. Chelsea are 2-0 up at that moment in time. Everyone's happy. But what I'm most happy about is the fact that George got another assist. Tariq George is really coming on at a nice pace. I'm not saying he's Ethan Nwaneri. I'm not saying he's Miles Lewis-Skelly. But what I am saying is he's contributing. And this is what we need him to do. He's getting assists. He's running around. He doesn't look out of place. And he looks physically stronger. Right? And for me, that's all we can ask from a young kid at this moment in time. There should be no pressure on him. He's done really well. The next thing I want to talk about, and it's the final thing I want to talk about today actually, it's the fact that Maheka got an opportunity and people are trying to see a negative that he got subbed. Look, he got subbed. It's a shame. However, this is a great opportunity for a 17-year-old who's 17 years old and 137 days young. Like, this guy is absolutely leaps and bounds above where he should be at this age. He is starting for Chelsea in a Conference League game. Yes, it's a Conference League, but this is against Copenhagen, a team that's usually in the Champions League. And yes, he did not look like he was absolutely amazing, but he didn't look terrible either. Chelsea just had a very poor first half, and he was involved. He's got a good 45 minutes under his belt. He will learn from this. Do you remember some of Tariq George's early games? Like, the pace is so different. I think that people need to realize. So for me, I'm taking this as a positive. Overall, Chelsea won, and we move on to Leicester. That's the big one now for me. We need to go get 3 points there. Once we get those, we're all going to be happy. But what I'm going to tell you guys now is there's a nice piece of information regarding Leao potentially being at Chelsea next year, and Chelsea have started initial talks. I've got your interest, don't I? It's over here. Go check it out. It's a great, quick story.